Hello, welcome back to another one of our nutrition webinars. This is our third episode in the series, and today I'm going to be talking about simple swaps to make a difference. So, a couple swaps you can make in food or your choices that can lead to more energy, better health, stuff like that. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into it. So, I'm going to go ahead and present my screen. And I will take you guys through this PowerPoint. All right, so simple swaps to make a difference, nutrition tips. So, little presentation overview. We're going to discuss what a healthy diet looks like versus an unhealthy diet. We'll talk about caloric needs and how those vary from person to person. Review the major food groups. We're going to talk about recommendations for swaps you can incorporate into your diet. And then this is more for the live session, which can encourage you to attend our next session. The last session this coming Thursday is a discussion-based activity at the end. So let's start things off. Introduction. What does a healthy diet look like? So a healthy diet consists primarily of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, lean protein, like we talked about in last week's video. The less legs, the better, generally speaking. So poultry, fish, beans, eggs, and nuts. Foods that are low in saturated fats, trans fats, cholesterol, salt, and added sugars. And then you want to stay within your daily caloric needs. But again, these vary person to person, and we'll talk about those. So let's talk about them. Let's talk about those calories. So again, these vary from person to person. That kind of broad caloric intake that you'll see on a lot of food labels is 2,000 calories a day. But you really have to consider gender and activity level. So I have a couple examples for you here. So males aged 21 to 25 with a moderate activity level should consume roughly 2,800 calories a day to meet their caloric needs, whereas females, the same age with the same activity level, should only consume about 2,200 calories a day. So if you're looking for a kind of broad caloric intake level for most people, that's about 2,000 calories a day. But again, it really does depend on your fitness level, your age, and also your gender that can play a factor in those. So what does a healthy diet look like for a whole day? So a healthy diet might look like for breakfast, possibly a smoothie with some berries, some Greek yogurt, get some good protein in there, healthy fats such as chia seeds, and then possibly a scoop of protein powder that you like. And then oatmeal for that complex carbohydrate, slower digesting to give you energy throughout the day. You can also mix in fruit with your oatmeal. I personally love to do that with strawberries. And then lunch might look like a salad with various toppings, trying to get that eat the rainbow in there. Possibly a whole wheat sandwich or wrap. And then for dinner, that could look something like salmon, a vegetable, and then a complex carb such as whole wheat pasta. And like we talked about the other week, snacks are encouraged throughout the day. You want to keep those blood sugar levels kind of consistent throughout the day to feel that optimal and a good level of energy. So what does an unhealthy diet look like in a whole day? So unhealthy diet might look like your breakfast might be a donut or sugar-filled cereal with milk. Your lunch might be macaroni and cheese. And dinner might be meat lovers pizza with soda. I'm not trying to vilify these foods, although they are kind of junk foods. Things are okay in moderation. We talked about that 80-20 kind of rule last time, 80% of the time looking for those whole foods, minimally processed in your diet. And then within moderation, you can consume, again, within moderation, whatever you want the other 20% of the time. But just try to be mindful of what it is you're putting into your body. So let's talk about a step in the right direction. So try to plan your meals out for the week. When you take your trip to the grocery store, look around for those healthier options you can buy. Those will typically be on the outskirts of the store. When you get towards the middle, those are kind of the processed junk foods that you'll find. Pay attention to food labels. Oftentimes, if you can't pronounce the first couple of ingredients, it's not that healthy of an option. A good thing to remember with food labels is that they list ingredients in the order of the quantity that they're in there. So the first listed ingredient is going to be the one that's the most in that specific food or item. So just knowing what the first couple ingredients are, those are primarily what you're consuming with that food. Try to find a healthy substitute when you can. Stay away from items that have added sugars, excess sodium, or fat. And yeah, again, paying attention to those ingredients listed on the food labels, just seeing in what order they're in and what ones are listed first. So let's talk about some simple swaps. So here's a sandwich tip for you. We all love a good sandwich. Oftentimes we find ourselves eating one with two pieces of bread. You can try making an open face sandwich. This can save you roughly 120 calories. It depends on what kind of bread you're using, white versus whole wheat and that kind of stuff. But another option you have is to switch the white bread with whole wheat bread for a complex carbohydrate. Whole wheat bread will also contain more fiber. You can also eat sandwiches with a fork and a knife, which will cause you to eat it slower, which gives the body more time to process when you're actually full, which can help prevent overeating. Let's talk about simple swap number 2, pasta dish. So zoodles in replace of typical spaghetti. So this, as a question came up during our webinar this past week, what are zoodles? I've had them before, so I was like, oh, I know what they are. And someone was like, hey, what are those? So zoodles are zucchini noodles. It's like a slang for them. You can take a zucchini, and I believe the instrument is called a spiralizer, and you just kind of twist it through, and it'll create these green kind of strands that not exactly the same texture as pasta, but it's kind of like what you're looking for. And if we look at the nutrition facts of each of them, a cup of zoodles, that packs only 20 calories in comparison to a cup of typical spaghetti, which can pack as much as 210 calories. And then also paying attention to how much carbohydrates you're getting from each one and fiber. And also you can see at the very bottom with specifically vitamin C for zoodles, you're getting a lot more than you get with typical spaghetti. Snack time. So ditch the potato chips. This is very hard for me because I love potato chips, but a great substitute for when you're craving that kind of crunch and kind of something salty. Kale chips are actually really, really good if you haven't tried them before. And they're also low in calories and packed with nutrients. Roasted chickpeas are another excellent option. They're loaded with fiber and magnesium. You can also try beet chips, which are nutrient-dense, bright-colored vegetables that reduce inflammation and boost your heart health. And now let's talk about dessert. So I'm not trying to attack any brands here, but Ben and Jerry's, if we look at a little calorie comparison between Ben and Jerry's and Halo Top, it's quite substantial. So brands like Halo Top, they flaunt how they have 360 calories, generally speaking, per pint, which is pretty good considering ice cream. If you take half a cup of Ben and Jerry's chocolate chip cookie dough, that's 280 calories right there. And if you compare it to the Halo Top chocolate chip cookie dough, half a cup is only 90 calories. So a better idea to switch to Halo Top when you can. Let's talk about beverages. So if you love soda and the carbonation kind of feel that you get with soda, sip on seltzer instead of soda. 12 ounces of seltzer water with fresh lemon, maybe a few calories, but very negligible, close to zero. Versus 12 ounces of Coke, which has 140 calories and also has, I want to say, somewhere in the 30 plus grams of sugar per serving. So something you can switch out seltzer water for soda. So this was our activity this week, a little harder to do in a recording, but we had a group discussion where we kind of swap. So everyone kind of shared swap they were familiar with, they've incorporated in their daily life, or that they have, and they might want to bring to the table for other people to know about. Below this, we have listed a couple images here that are healthy kind of swaps that you can do. So for example, for a cup of butter, you can do a fourth a cup of Greek yogurt and half a cup of butter. A cup of sour cream, you can do a cup of Greek yogurt. And that's actually great for tacos if you're looking for that kind of sour cream texture and pretty similar taste with your taco. Adding Greek yogurt's a really, really good switch for that. And then if we go to the other side, you can see swapping candy for fruit, getting those naturally occurring sugars in fruit, fructose, to kind of boost you up and perk you up when you feel like you need something sweet. Instead of butter, maybe avocados. Again, a healthy fat there with avocados. Instead of salt, maybe looking to add herbs to season or spice things up in your dishes. Instead of milk, maybe a plant-based milk. They can be lower in calories and also that saturated fat. And instead of bagels, possibly something like fruit, like bananas. And these are my sources. And I'll stop sharing my screen. Well, I hope you all enjoyed this third episode in our series, Simple Swaps to Make a Difference. I encourage you all to sign up for our last nutrition webinar of the month because March was Healthy Nutrition Month. That's why we started this whole project. So that'll be this Thursday at 7. If you'd like to attend, please email wellness@sjcme.edu and I will answer it and I will book you for our nutrition webinar. So I hope to see you all there. If not, keep watching these and see what you can learn. I hope this helps. Thank you.